Wow, the most fun we ever had racing cars definitely had to be the 525 Super Series. Just good group of guys. Mike Vaughn was putting his heart and soul in that deal. Man, we were faster than crate cars. In most cases, we were as fast as supers. Most places we went, especially once the track blew off a little bit. But I mean, Ronnie Johnson was running with us. Ronnie Lee Hollingsworth, man, Tim Busha, man, Ted Lackey was out there. Man, we just Steve Kirk. We had some bad to the bone guys. I mean, really good group of racers. And Mike Vaughn was doing a good job of keeping the cost down. At the time, the motors were like $89.99. I think dressed we had like maybe 12 grand in it with the David Smith carburetor, Schoenfeld headers, Jones pulleys. I mean, all the good stuff. And these things were making really good power. We actually took both of ours up to Jay Foley in Stewart, Virginia, and they really made 18-degree tour legal modified numbers. So a really respectful engine, and it was a good deal. But the first one of those that we go run, well, we went to the first practice with that car, never driven the car, brand new laser. Jim Bernheisel built us a really nice car. And if you guys don't know Jim, laser chassis, you're missing out, man. Guy loves Jesus, awesome family man, just incredible race cars, best fabricated, nicest race cars you'll ever see. And if you don't believe me, go look at any laser chassis. Nobody beats Jim Bernheisel. But anyway, different story. We'll talk about Jim in the future. But so got this brand new car, man. We go to Friendship, which is just right up the road from us here, about an hour. And my nemesis, everybody called him my nemesis, Winky McGee. I got along with Winky McGee great, but everybody was convinced we hated each other. We never even touched each other that I know of, but we did race each other really hard. But Winky was up there in a Super that night, and we were up there with our 525 car. And at the time, Sammy Speaks still had his deal at Precision, and Sammy was doing our shocks, and Jim was doing the car, and David Smith on the carburetor. And I mean, we'd won a few races at Friendship. We got around there pretty good. Man, this 525 car, they had prepped the track that night, was freaking awesome. And man, I want to say there was a few other Supers up there, but we were by far the fastest car. We were way faster than the Supers, the crates, the whole deal. So we leave there. That was kind of a pretest. We leave there. Me, Jerry Wayne. Jerry was my crew chief at the time, and we go to Penton, Alabama for the first ever inaugural 525 Super Series race. And we roll in. We got there pretty early. And if you've never been to Penton, Alabama, it's the third hottest place I've ever been on earth. Mississippi is number one and number two, which will be another story as well. But we get down there to Penton. We unload, and we're kind of messing around and meeting the other drivers. And I kind of look across the way, and I see this guy. He looks like he's riding a bulldozer, like he's built into it. I'm like, man, what is that? And I look over and I realize it's Mark Dowdy. And Mark and I both sponsored at the time Rusty Schlink, which we both still do, but I'd never met Mark. So I go over and I meet him, and we shake hands and we laugh and cut up. Man, Mark is a freaking hoot. If you never met him, you are missing out. You got to meet Mark Dowdy before you get out of the sport. So we're over there talking this, that, and the other. I'm checking out his car, man. He's got hand controls in there so he can race. And, man, he's just a good dude. So we go out in the first hot lap session, and I think there's 5 or 6 of us out there, and we fire. And I'm coming down the back straightaway, and Dowdy gets to turn 3 and just starts barrel rolling, just flipping. I'm like, oh my gosh, new car, new motor, first night of the series, the whole deal. And I don't know why, but I panicked. I mean, he's paralyzed, like he can't use his legs. So man, I stop, I jump out of the car and go running over there, and he's upside down, and the paramedics are there. And I asked him, I said, "Are you all right?" And he said, "I am, but." I said, "But what?" He says, "Watch this." So the paramedics get over there, and he's like, "I can't feel my legs. I can't feel my legs." And he's pounding on his legs and stuff, this, that, and the other. And I'm thinking, man, this guy's got to be the greatest of all time. So they get him out of the car, and they're calling the paramedics because he can't use his legs. And they get the ambulance over there and transport him back. He wasn't hurt at all. Heck, I think they banged the car out and even ran the feature with us that night. But we had a really good time. We did some other stuff with Mark kind of throughout the year. I had to measure him for a fire suit one time. We actually laid him down in his motorhome on the bed. Never measured anybody on a bed, but it worked out pretty good. And Dowdy had some pretty cool fire suits, man. But great guy, good people. That 525 series was awesome. Did a bunch of dealership appearances with that deal, and that's actually one of my last ever races was a 525 race at Little Talladega. We had a good time. Rusty came down, drove my other car. I think he railed to a top 5 there in the 100. I parked it halfway through. That was after my concussion, so I don't remember much about the trip. But one of my last races was down there. But that 525 deal is legit. I really hope it takes off. I know a lot of guys have tried it. Mike Vaughn there out of Georgia, man, he really got that thing going, and He was the originator of crate racing anyway. He'll get it figured out, man. You guys stick with Mike Vaughn, and you'll go good places. And make sure that you meet Mark Dowdy. But man, the friends that we made from that. We were at Why Not, second hottest place I've ever been. Rodney Wing's place. Rodney is a hoot too. So we're down there and we're hot lapping or whatever. And I realized this place is really like my favorite racetrack, Ararat, Virginia, Rolling Thunder. So, and I can almost get around Rolling Thunder wide open. And this place was a little bit wider. And for hot laps, and hot laps only, if you race Mississippi, you know where this is going. There was traction. So we go out and qualify, and I'm next to last to qualify. And I go out and I'm able to run around wide open. There wasn't really a cushion, but there was a little bit of a lip there. And I mean, I didn't have to have it wadded up. Park that bad boy on the pole. Next guy out, Ronnie Johnson. Ronnie goes out there and beats me by like 1/1,000,000th of a second. It was stupid close. And we getting everything ready, and Ronnie comes over. He goes, "Man, I'm glad you went out in front of me." I said, "Why is that?" He goes, "Because I knew you were dumb enough to hold it wide open, and if you survived, I could probably figure it out." I'm like, "Well, thanks a lot, Ronnie." But Ronnie helped me a lot with learning how to drive in the black slick and taught me a lot about tour racing and prep, man. Just great guy, great group of guys. It was really an awesome time in racing for all of us, and it's really neat to see where those guys have all landed now. But yeah, that 525 deal was legit.